Well, in a few weeks' time, we will be off to Silesia for the European Athletics Team Championships, which see all three divisions contested in the same venue across the week from the 20th to the 25th of June. But now we're in Pacé in Brittany, in northwestern France, and it's the 26th edition of the European 10,000 metre Cup. As you can see there on your screen, it's the Stade Chassebeuf. Well, it was the venue for last year's European 10,000 metres Cup, and it'll be the venue again in 12 months' time when we come back here, because Pacé have taken on the duties of staging this particular event for 3 years. Well, 24 degrees at the moment, little bit of wind out in the middle of the Stade Chassebeuf, and as you can see, it is quite open. Let's hope that the wind drops. But the temperature's good, and it will be just dropping very slightly as we move towards the big races later on this evening. Of course, we have 4 races, men's and women's A and B races, and we get underway in about 20 minutes time, 25 minutes time. There's the timetable on cue. The women's 10,000 metre B race is coming up at 18:45 Central European Summer Time, and then we have the men's B race, the women's A race at 8:10, and we conclude with the men's 10,000 metres A race at 5 to 9 local time. We're 2 hours ahead of GMT, so set your clocks if you're tuning in from anywhere outside of Central Europe. And we have a terrific lineup in those races. We have no less than 99 competitors coming from 25 different countries, the length and breadth of European athletics member federations, right the way through from, well, Ireland and Iceland out in the Atlantic, all the way through to Turkey on the far eastern side of the continent. Scandinavian countries well represented, Denmark, Sweden, Norway and Finland, and then we go down to the south to Iberia with Spain and Portugal. So yes, indeed, the length and the breadth of Europe has come to Pacé in Brittany in northwestern France to contest this European Cup. Well, names to look out for a little later. I include Yamani Bahan Kripa, the reigning European 10,000 metre champion from Munich last summer. Well, Kripa brings with him a very strong Italian team that are looking to regain their European Cup team title that they last won in 2019. Defending champions France in the men's team competition have won it for the last 2 years. Of course, we did miss out in 2020, unfortunately due to the pandemic. But France are going to be here and trying to defend their title. But on paper, it's a tough call because Italy are very strong indeed, and so too Spain as well. Then in the women's competition, we have last year's silver medalist Alina Ray returning, and she heads a very good German team indeed, including 2 women who were in exceptional form at the recent German championships. Eva Dietrich, who finished second just behind Dominika Meyer, both women setting very good personal bests in that competition. So we'll be looking forward to the women's race, as I say, the penultimate event on the track. Don't count out either Abby Donnelly of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, who's made a big improvement this year, and she'll be battling for the medals, I'm sure, along with the 3 Germans. And there's a number of other women that we could look at as well in that competition. Of course, Alina Ray, who I mentioned just a moment ago, led Germany to their first ever women's team title, and they look very, very strong contenders to defend that title a little bit later on. Well, we have good weather and a good audience. This is a really nice setting for the European 10,000 metres Cup. We've been all over Europe over the course of the 26 editions. We look back, the very first edition held in the Basque Country in Spain, in Baracaldo. We've been to Lisbon, we've gone to Italy on several occasions, we've been to the likes of Athens and Istanbul. You can really look at the growing popularity of this event in many respects, in terms of where it's been staged. We've been to Oslo as well, and even the likes of Skopje in the Republic of North Macedonia. So this is very much a global event that is taking place on European soil it's really got the attention of the world. So, we're getting ready now for the opening ceremony, which is just about to get underway very shortly. So, I'll just take a pause, but please do stay with us because we've got the best part of 3.5 hours of thrilling athletics action. Now, you'll see a lot of that. That's the Brittany flag being waved. Well, if you look on your maps, Pacé, it's about a 10-minute drive from the regional capital, Rennes. You fly into Nantes Airport. It's a very, very nice train journey from Nantes. That's the nearest airport for many people. It's a bit further away to Paris. Some of the regional music and the local musicians entertaining the crowd as we get ready for the opening ceremony.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la cérémonie d'ouverture de la Coupe d'Europe 10 000 mètres Pacé 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the opening ceremony of the European 10,000 meter Cup Pacé 2023.
Merci de vous lever, si vous le pouvez, pour l'hymne de l'Association européenne d'athlétisme.
Please rise if you're able for the European Athletics Anthem.
Well, local dignitaries on the dais, including to the left-hand side, Jean Gracia, Senior Vice President of European Athletics, and the Mayor of Pacé there as well. Mr. Gracia, former President of the French Federation. Very highly respected official in continental circles.
Merci d'accueillir le premier vice-président représentant le président de l'Association européenne d'athlétisme.
Please welcome the first Vice President representing the European Athletics President,
Monsieur Jean Gracia.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous.
Well, Mr. Gracia talking. I have to confess, I'm not fluent in French, so it's a little bit difficult for me to translate.
Pour cette Coupe d'Europe du 10 000 mètres, on vient d'assister là depuis le début de l'après-midi à des fantastiques compétitions qui ont été organisées en prélude de cette Coupe d'Europe. Et donc les 25 pays qui sont présents aujourd'hui ici à Pacé pour disputer cette Coupe d'Europe vont trouver un cadre extraordinaire pour réaliser de bonnes performances et on compte sur vous tous et toutes pour pouvoir les encourager afin de faire des performances en vue des prochaines échéances internationales, que ce soit les championnats du monde ou les Jeux olympiques. Voilà pour le message. Je tiens aussi à remercier Pacé en courant, l'association qui organise ça. Je vois Monsieur le maire qui est présent, je tiens à le remercier également, ainsi que toutes les collectivités qui participent et tous les volontaires surtout qui participent à l'organisation de cette magnifique compétition ici en Bretagne. Voilà, donc bonne chance à toutes les athlètes et toutes les délégations présentes ici à Pacé. Et merci de votre attention.
Merci d'accueillir le président de la Fédération française d'athlétisme.
please
Well, as I said, I'm not fluent in French, but I did manage to pick up a few phrases, and Mr. Gracia talking about this championship being the perfect staging post for athletes to make their mark and go forward to the next year's European Athletics Championships and also the World Athletics Championships coming up this summer. This is André Giraud, the French Athletics Federation president. We're very grateful for the French Athletics Federation for their assistance in staging this event.
Réaliser des performances avec de très belles courses que nous allons vivre. Et au niveau de la fédération, nous sommes très heureux que Pacé soit devenue la capitale européenne de l'athlétisme. Merci.
Mesdames et messieurs, voici maintenant le défilé des nations.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the Parade of the Nations.
Well, you didn't need me to translate that. As the infield presenter said, it's now time for the Parade of the Nations. All 25 nations that are here in Pacé for this edition of the European 10,000 metres Cup.
L'Autriche.
Austria.
Well, Austria. We'll see some of their athletes in action very shortly.
Belgium.
La Bulgarie.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Well, their athletes will be in action very shortly. Devora Avramova.
The Czech Republic.
Belgium. They feature the very good Chloe Ebiats in the women's A race.
Spain.
Spain, well, they are historically the most successful nation in the European 10,000 metres Cup, with no less than 24 golds to their credit. Perhaps a few more to be won here today. Estonia.
La Finlande.
And the Czech Republic represented as well. Now, Czech Republic fielding the very good Moira Stuartova in the women's A race.
Irlande du Nord.
Stuartova I wouldn't count out as being an outsider for the medals. Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Well, their women have won the team title 5 times in the last 7 years. They're going to be competitive again for medals and probably titles. And as I mentioned at the opening of the programme, as we see Denmark, followed by, in there as well, Germany. Well, Germany, especially on the women's side, some very strong competitors. Sadly, the German team lost Nils Voigt, 27-30 man on the eve of these championships, decided he wasn't in great shape. Hungary, well, perhaps not looking for medals here. They do have Lilo Bohm running in the women's B race a little bit later. Ireland, well, a great nation of distance runners over the years. Israel have never won a gold at these championships, but they have come with a very strong team of runners, and keep an eye out for Tadessa Getahon as well. Getahon, former medalist at European under-20 and under-23 level, who's improved this year to 27:33.99.
Lituanie.
Lithuania.
La Norvège.
Lithuania just coming through the curtains,
Norway.
followed by Norway.
Portugal.
No Carolina Bjork-Grovdal this year. They feature quite heavily in the women's competition.
Slovenia.
La
Portugal, perhaps not as strong contenders for medals as they've been in previous years. Portugal have struck gold on occasions in the past. They have won both the men's and the women's team titles. Wouldn't count them out, but I don't see them as medal contenders perhaps this year. But you never know, that's the beauty of this sport.
La Suède.
Slovak Republic and Sweden.
La Turquie.
Well, Turkey could be on the podium in the men's race. We've got some useful runners in the men's race. And of course Turkey won the men's individual title through Polat Arikan back in 2014 and 2015. More recently, Izmir Ayede won the women's individual title, and last year Yasmin Chan. And in similar fashion to the Olympics, the host nation, France, is the last to emerge and the last to take a bow in the Parade of Nations. And France, certainly in the men's competition, will be battling for the team medals. In case you're wondering, you're allowed to have up to 6 competitors if they've qualified, and the top 3 scorers are decided on accumulated time, not positions, accumulated time. There's Ukraine. Well, obviously, given the circumstances in their country, huge sympathy for Ukraine. Strong team in the women's A final, led by Valeria Zinenko. Just a handful of sub 32-minute runners in the women's race. Useful competitor. All 25 nations now represented in front of the home stand of the Stade Chasseboeuf.
25 nations who will take part in this European Cup.
That's all his friends and family of the flag bearers there.
Pour l'hymne national de la France.
Ladies and
A photo
gentlemen,
for posterity.
please rise if you're able for the national anthem of France.
Something they'll be able to look back on in years to come.
To the left, vers la gauche. Move the camera to the left.
Et maintenant, pour ouvrir officiellement cette Coupe d'Europe du 10 000 mètres, merci d'accueillir le président du comité local d'organisation,
Well,
accompagné du parrain
after
de cette
the French
édition,
national anthem,
de Pacé.
Now to officially open the European 10,000 meter cup Pacé 2023, please welcome the president of the local organizing committee, accompanied by the ambassador of the event and the mayor of Pacé.
Monsieur Loïc Rapinel, le professeur François Carré et Monsieur Hervé de Touez.
Nous déclarons ouvert la 25e édition du Coupe d'Europe de 10 000 mètres.
Merci à toutes, merci à tous. On se retrouve pour le spectacle sportif avec une première course qui débutera à 18h45.
Thank you to everybody, and in a few minutes, the first event on the track. Let's get ready.
So now, 7 minutes to the gun of the very first event of this European 10,000 meters Cup. Here's the full lineup, and it is a big field, but it gets even bigger later on. 20 women in the start line. Perhaps to pick out Johanna Peiponen, the Finn. Well, she's the fastest woman in the field with 31:42.90. But that came back in 2016, so 7 years ago, and she hasn't been in quite that same shape since, but certainly a woman to look out for. So 20 women representing 13 countries in the field. Also have the Italian Rebecca Lonedo finishing third in the B race last year. Returning perhaps go a place or two higher. B race 12 months ago. Well, that was won by the Czech Teresa Porodova in 33:08. That's probably the sort of time we're looking for. Although just look at that wind. It is very breezy out there. I think that may well affect some of the times that we're going to see over the course of the next couple of hours. However, this is all about head-to-head competition, individual and team titles, and sometimes, it doesn't happen very often, but bearing in mind that the results of both the A and the B races are combined, a good performance in the B race has actually counted towards medals overall. As I said, a nation is allowed to enter 6 competitors, up to 6 competitors, and the team standings are decided by the combined times of the best 3 runners. Presentation of the athletes. Here's Mazurenko. Mazurenko is 18th in the recent Berlin half marathon. This is Selina Hummel of Switzerland, reigning national 10,000 meter champion. Just saw Nea Kristina of Slovenia, 6 times national champion over 5 and 10,000 meters. And then collectively, all 3 Norwegians, Matilda Thiessen, Kristin Vaksdal Opland, and Hanna Maridal. 2 Lithuanians, Lina Kilyuk and Susannaiti, Vaida Susannaiti Nurkasien. Just saw 2 of the Italians. The other 4 will be running in the main race. Giovanna Silva and Rebecca Lonardo.
Ireland.
Two women from Ireland, Shona Heslip and Ina Drominau.
La Hongrie.
Hungary's
Hungary.
Lila Bohm. Mentioned her during the Parade of Nations. Bohm,
La Grèce.
3 times
Greece.
national champion over 5 and 10,000 meters. Greece's Irini Subaki.
Nina Kinenius.
2 French women in the B race. Sure they'll get big cheers. Melody Julien and Aldi Karachansky.
Spain. Laura Luengo.
Julien, former national 10,000 meter champion as well for France.
Bulgaria.
We just saw Laura Luengo of Spain, but most of her compatriots running in the A race, and Devora Avramova of Bulgaria.
Mélodie Julien. Aude
Avramova,
Koloszewski.
23 years of age, reigning national half marathon champion for the Bulgarians. So 20 women on the start line.
Elles seront donc 20 dans cette première course du 10 000 mètres. On vous rappelle le concept de cette Coupe d'Europe, des courses individuelles, mais surtout par équipe. On additionnera les 3 meilleurs chronos des athlètes des délégations pour avoir un chrono final. Le chrono le plus rapide sera sacré vainqueur de la Coupe d'Europe du 10 000 mètres et ça se fera au cumul des 2 courses. On va tout à fait complet ces 2 courses.
Settle onto the start line.
Par niveau.
Well, if we're looking at around,
Races for the women.
let's just say 33:20, that's the easy arithmetic pace as a winning time. That means 80-second laps from the winner. So we'll keep an eye on that. Last year, well, there was no less than 7 women in the B race who got inside 33:30, which is a very respectable time. Just to mark your cards, we haven't yet published the qualifying times for the European Athletics Championships next year, which will be held in Rome. And of course, this week we had the launch of the logo, and it's 1 year to go on Tuesday to those European Athletics Championships. But for the women, qualifying time is 32:20. And at the moment, well, apart from Penonen, none of these women have run that sort of time, but who knows, maybe this is exactly the race where this could happen. Perhaps for somebody like Lonedo.
La finlandaise 38-42-90 sur la distance. Rebecca Lonedo également qui sera suivie italienne sur cette finale.
So they get ready. 2 echelons. So there's 7 women on the bend a little bit further around the track in the Stade Chasberf. 13 women a bit further back. 25 laps of the track. And we're away. So as I say, the winners will be coming around in probably laps of around 80 seconds. As you'd expect, a fairly steady start.
Course B de la Coupe d'Europe du 10 000 mètres ici à Pacé. On vous a présenté les principales favorites. Attention également à une très forte équipe d'Espagne emmenée dans cette finale par Cristina Ruiz qui a déjà réalisé 32,08 sur la distance. On vous a parlé. Voilà, on vous a parlé de Mélodie Julien.
At the stage, showing strongly at the front. 2 Irish women, Islap and Nick Drominal, Well, slightly tired of the pedestrian pace over the first 300 metres. And the Norwegians decides to head for the front. Maridal has a best of 33:37.80. Hasn't run a 10,000 metres yet this year. Obviously feeling in good form. Gone through in unofficially around 82 seconds. The rest of the field quickly closes the gap on there, including Julian. Two Irish women, looks like the Hungarian. Move on. One also up there. In about 8th place, maybe a little bit further, maybe about 7th or 6th at the moment. A decent opening pace. Certainly it's strung out the field. We've lost a few women off the back. That's about an 11-woman leading group. Back to Slovenia's Neža Kresninar.
Votre attention s'il vous plaît, sont attendus au niveau de la zone d'arrivée à
Going through 2 laps, just outside 80-second pace. That was at about an 81-82 second lap.
Quentin Bronchard, Nicolas Steven, Léo Colil, Mathieu Boinguenet, Martin Léon, Mathis Miosek, Raduval, Alexis Léonard, Corentin Coutour, Romain Lassire, Noé Le Guillou, Malo Chaudron, Raphaël Grisel, Corentin De Beauregard, Théo Le Gouguec, Florian Le
So still Maridal leading the way at the moment.
Melvin Guenet, Dylan Ranou, Louis Delamer et Jean Perron.
And all the runners so far in the same pack, but led by the
Maridal and Julien, both looking very determined.
And the Irish athlete either Nick
Maridal at the moment. Very early stages in this race. On course for a personal best in this opening kilometre.
Sachez que la plupart de ces athlètes ont déjà réalisé de tels chronos, voire même en dessous de 33 minutes sur un 10 000 mètres piste. Toujours Maridal, la Norvégienne qui est en tête, Mélodie Julien en deuxième position. On retrouve l'Irlandaise ensuite qui est bien placée.
Yes, the Irish athlete third in the race so far. Either Nick Dumhill. So as we said, all the athletes are still in a pack right now. No one's taken a large lead, but the Norwegian athletes have been leading the race since the beginning.
So the leaders went through the first kilometre in 3:19. Just bringing you up to date. They went through 3 laps. Almost exactly 4 minutes. So they are picking up the pace a little bit, running at 80-second pace. 80-second lap pace. So 33:20 pace. Maridal, Julian, Nick Dominel, Luengo, the second Irish woman, Heaslip, and then Lenedo, Bowman, Selva, the top 8, as you can see in the lower left-hand side of your screen. Starting to make some headway now.
deux groupes de tête sur l'écran géant. Et
Still Maridal looking very comfortable in front, taking them out.
En deuxième position derrière la Norvégienne Annemjøen Maridal.
Elle fait un gros travail, la Norvégienne, actuellement, dans cette finale du 10 000 mètres.
4 laps in 5:16:58.
Et un passage important, Alex.
Just coming up
Un
to
passage au deuxième kilomètre en 6:35.
2,000 meters,
Sur des bases
6:35:66.
2 kilometers, 6:35 for this group of leading athletes, which means that will be slightly under 33 minutes for the 10,000 meters.
So 8 women having now detached themselves from the rest of the field, and quite conveniently 8 women shown in the leaderboard on the lower left hand side of your screen.
As you can see,
Still
for
Maridal
the pace, we have the wave light that is set to 33
taking the pace, towing everybody else around,
right on the wave
towing
light.
the other 7
If they
women.
are on this pace, 33 minutes, if they are ahead, it will mean that they might
Can
run
keep up this pace,
faster than 33 minutes.
looking as though there might be a few PBs. Well, of course, that's what this cup is all about. That's why the nations send their runners to this cup. So the leading runners, leading distance runners, can get personal bests now that there aren't that many 10,000 metre races around on the international one-day meeting circuit. Sometimes in Brussels, some early season races in the United States, and European athletes featured in those during the early part of the season. European lead 30.00.86 by Alish McColgan. It's done in California back in March. Several other races in California as well have seen good European times posted. Still Maridal.
Pour l'instant, beaucoup d'athlètes dans les 5-6 premières pouvaient, pourquoi pas ce soir,
With 6 laps in 7:56.
une performance vers leur propre record personnel. Marc est en train de relancer l'allure actuellement. Elle a invité Mélodie Julien.
So Maridal doing a good job of ticking off 80-second, 81-second laps.
Un tout petit peu ralenti, et c'était très simple de le voir grâce à la wave light.
Julian has a best of 33.07, so she's been in this sort of territory before. Lengo running faster than she's ever done in her life, a best of 33.45. Looking back to last year, no less than 4 personal bests in the top 5 in the B race. So this is being set up nicely, despite those windy conditions, for some good times from these women. It looks as though Selva's struggling a little bit at the back. Italian Giovanna Selva still hanging on. He's already had one 10,000 metre outing, the Italian at the back of that group of 8 this year, and she's run 33.49.57. Still Maridal, terrific job of pacemaking at the front for everybody else. I'm hoping she's not burning herself out. They went through 3,000 metres in 9:56.82.
The lead equal has changed slightly. The Norwegian athlete is still leading. But now it's the Spanish athlete, Laura Ruengo, who's taken the second place in this race. And right behind her is Mélodie Julien, the French athlete.
Still, well, Bit of discussion between Maridal and Luengo. I think Maridal is making it known that she didn't appreciate Luengo tracking her quite so closely. Still on course for a sub 33.20 at the moment. And it's still Maridal towing everybody around. Tracked closely by Laura Luengo. Melody Julien looking comfortable, so too the tall Italian Lonedo. I think pace has just slowed just a little bit over that last 200 metres. Luengo decides to take the lead now.
Laura Luengo, the Spanish athlete, has now decided to take the lead in this race. Behind her is still...
So the 25-year-old Spaniard goes to the front. Good result recently on the roads in Huelva, down in the south of Spain, running 32.20. Maybe that's an indication of the sort of shape that she's in then. Sub 33 shape on the track. A very good half marathon as well. Won the national half marathon title in 71.12. So Luengo in good shape. And Maridal just starting to, well, just looks a little bit tired at the moment. So we'll have undergone 10 laps when they go through the finishing line this time. Luengo taking her turn at the front. Julien just tucks on the inside as she's been all the way through this race. Lonedo up there as well. Two Irish women side by side, Shona Easlip, Nida Dominal. Leah Bowman having a good run at the moment, running almost a minute inside her personal best. Selva of Italy up there, tucked on the back as Maridal goes back to the front and then just gently increases the pace once again. So they're coming up across the line, 10 laps undergone, another 15 to go. So they went through 4,000 metres in 13:18.82. That was the cue for Maridal to put a little bit of a spurt in.
L'italienne en troisième position, deux foulées totalement opposées, mais beaucoup d'efficacité pour ces deux athlètes. Maridal, la norvégienne, le public de Pacé pour les encourager. Oui, c'est du grand spectacle ce soir. À l'occasion de cette Coupe d'Europe, Luneno, Mélodie Julien qui est toujours là, qui s'accroche, et Giovanna Selva, l'italienne, qui a reconnu dans le monde.
Dans 600 mètres, on passera à la mi-course.
33:20 pace at the moment.
Pour ce groupe de tête, toujours mené par un mieux Maridal, la norvégienne devant l'espagnol Laura Luengo.
And 7.5 laps undergone.
14 laps to go. In a few minutes we'll have reached
And it's still Maridal at the front. Now it's looking like Selva is off the back though. Selva starting to struggle just a little bit, the Italian. She has a best of 33.47. The Italian back in 8th place at the moment. Most of the rest looking very comfortable at this sort of pace. And however things finish at the end, all those women that get personal best can give the Norwegian Hannah Mjøen Maridal a pat on the back because she's done all the hard work for the vast majority of this first half of the race so far. Luengo just sitting on her shoulder at the moment. Lanedo moving up. Perhaps it's Lanedo's turn to make a bit of the work at the front. 13 laps to go, just coming up to the halfway point.
Bien caché également dans ce groupe. Elodie Julien, la française, qui est là elle aussi. Ça a bougé devant en tête de course. On commence à réagir, à relancer la ligne.
If we will get a 5 kilometer time.
Également la deuxième irlandaise de cette course qui s'accroche et ça semble accélérer sous l'impulsion de Laura Luengo. Dans quelques dizaines de mètres, on va passer à la mi-course.
Just coming up to the 5 kilometer mark. Water being held out. I don't think it's so warm that at this stage in the race any of the runners will come across. So 16:44.49. So slowed a bit in the last couple of laps.
Qui sont en tête, l'Espagnole et l'Italienne.
Voilà, ça a légèrement accéléré.
Just inside 32:30 pace. And now it's Luengo's turn at the front.
Ce groupe, Luengo, Lonedo, toujours Marinal, comme l'Ambroise, qui ferme toujours la marche du groupe. Et j'ai l'impression que Elodie Julien, quelques mètres derrière.
And Lanedo goes to the front for the.
C'est loin d'être fini, elle s'approche.
And Lanedo's now starting to push quite hard.
The two Irish athletes are now here, and still the Norwegian and the Hungarian.
Rebecca Lonedo, l'italienne, record personnel à 33-15-86 pour l'instant. Eh bien, elle se dit qu'elle pourrait, pourquoi pas, aller chercher une meilleure performance pour elle ce soir.
And that injection of pace from Lanedo has seen off Silva and Julienne at the back. Bohm still hanging on at the back though. The Hungarian doing a good job and as say running well quite significantly inside her personal best. She's running about 40-45 seconds inside her personal best at the moment, the Hungarian, tapped on the back of that group. It's Lanedo pulling them along. Lanedo now, well, I think she came here for a tilt at a personal best, going better than her 33.15 that she's got to her credit. Finished fifth in the Italian Championships, which is why she's in the B race. 4 compatriots in the A race.
Elodie Julien pour l'équipe de France qui s'accroche, elle fait peut-être ses 2h29 réalisées au marathon de Prague il y a tout juste un mois. Et elle est là avec le maillot bleu, elle est là à la maison pour défendre les couleurs de l'équipe de France du 10 000 mètres. Elodie Julien et devant ça continue d'accélérer sous l'impulsion d'Anne-Mieux Marinal.
So 6,000 meters in 20:06.90. And certainly Lanedo has put it in an injection of pace.
Rebecca Lonedo, est-ce qu'elle va refaire? Eh bien, elle le refait. Regardez, dès qu'elle arrive à la sortie là-bas du départ du 15, elle allonge sa foulée, c'est ce qu'elle est en train de réaliser actuellement. À chaque fois, elle met un petit coup d'accélérateur, ligne droite.
And we look down the field, some of the other competitors. Lanedo starting to lap a few of them, including one of the Lithuanians in front of her. She's also now put about 4 meters between herself and Maridal. Maridal, though, still hanging on in there. And we're down to 5 at the front. So it's Maridal in second place at the moment, followed closely by the 2 Irish women. And Boehm having a good run as in that last lap. Very quickly, Luengo of Spain, after showing at the front, has just gone backwards now. And still Lanedo at the front, the Italian. Rebecca Lanedo, now 26 years of age. Personal best coming last year in this B race, so she knows her way around the track in Pacé. So she is starting to pass some of the back markers. She's now lapping some of the women behind her. She's really starting to pull away, make this race her own. Further back down the field, we're in about there was Nea Krasinar, who went with the leading pack for about the first kilometre. Maybe she was just a bit too quick for her. Lanedo also lapping Korochanski, who's normally a sub-34 minute runner, so Korochanski not having the best of days. Lanedo just starting to really get into her running here, just starting to stride out.
Voilà, là ça a été un peu moins flagrant, les 2 Irlandaises. Voilà, essaient de s'aider en ce moment. Elles sont en 2e et 3e position. Maridal.
So Rebecca Lanedo, third 12 months ago, now looking as though, well, she's having a very good race. She could even get her promoted into the A race in 12 months' time when we'll be back in Pacé.
On est donc dans les 3 derniers kilomètres pour Rebecca Lanedo, toujours en tête devant les 2 Irlandaises, Islip et Nick Domney.
So 7 laps to go for Rebecca Lanedo. She's making it look so easy, the Italian woman. Lanedo. Wanted to silence his graduate. And hails from Avesignano. Head bobbing just a little bit, but she's still running very fluently. Running technique, holding up nicely. Behind her, well, doing a good job as well. Jenna Heaslip, at the moment well on course for a personal best. Looking very sprightly as well. Ida Nicknock coming out. So I'm pretty sure we are going to see a spate of top personal bests in the top 10 finishers in this women's B race.
Rebecca Lonedo, l'italienne, mais toujours très active là-bas, ligne droite opposée. Derrière, c'est Maridal, la norvégienne, et Pomme, la hongroise. Allez, on va s'intéresser au dénouement de ce 10 000 mètres. Une italienne face à deux irlandaises. Alex, pour l'instant, eh bien, on croit...
Lonedo striding out. Was looking very, very confident.
C'est pas complètement le cas, mais centimètre après centimètre.
Two Italian women, Irish women though, not letting the Italian go. Big gap between the two Irish women. Looks like they might well be working together. Well, they come through. 8,000 meters in 26:48:29.
Ça va être une belle bagarre dans ces 5 derniers tours.
Voilà, il faut peut-être pas revenir tout de suite. Tout de suite, il faut peut-être la garder en point de mire. C'est pas un conseil que je donnerais, bien évidemment, mais c'est la stratégie actuelle des deux Irlandaises qui auraient pu, on sentait qu'elles pouvaient recoller assez rapidement sur Rebecca Lonedo. Bien, elles ne le font pas. La garde
Still Lonedo at the front. The Irish pair not making much headway at the moment. Just closing the gap very fractionally. As they come up to lap the Greek run-up, Eleni Subaki. Subaki about 80 seconds in arrears now of the leaders.
Is still leading the race, but close behind the two Irish athletes that can work together to keep up with her. And it seems that's now the moment.
L'analyse de course d'Hélène Richter au moment où les deux Irlandaises.
So this is around 33:25 pace at the moment.
Et Nick Domnale, 4 tours à parcourir.
We are now back to a group of 3 leading the race. The 3 athletes are together. Of course, the Italian is alone, and the 2 Irish athletes are together. Now, what will be their strategy? That's what we're gonna see.
So Heaslop and
You remember that it's a team. It's a team.
Nick
But
Dominal
the 2
catching
Irish
up with
athletes must probably make sure that they
Lonedo
finish
and
together.
passing her, now starting to move away.
Relancer l'allure, on a cru à un moment donné que l'italienne allait
Lonedo.
claquer. Eh bien, ce n'est pas le cas pour l'instant. Elle est toujours dans la foulée des deux Irlandaises.
In the front from almost exactly the halfway point.
Sous vos yeux, on a accéléré
Around just over 3 kilometres in front. We've just seen the Irish women come up and join her. Can she just grit her teeth and hold on? Well, Nick Dominale looks full of running, doesn't she? She's bouncing around.
Le trio de tête, Hislop, Nick Domnale, ce sont
Shona
les deux
Hislop at the front.
L'Italienne Rebecca Lonedo.
Hislop comes from Tralee, famous for dancing, and she does on her CV state that she used to be a very good dancer, concentrating on distance running these days.
Un beau numéro dans cette course B. Et attention, dans la course A, se retrouveront celles qui ont toutes les meilleurs temps d'engagement.
15:50 5,000 metre best, which dates back to 2018. She's run really well here. She wasn't that far away from it, I would have imagined, at the halfway point. Now she's starting to pull away.
Easily, the Irish athletes now leading the race and imposing quite a speed, space.
Holding on to Lonedo of Italy. Third last year in this race. She won't want to finish third again. She's just going to have to grit her teeth over the remaining laps.
La course très courageuse de Mélodie Julien qui a été reprise par Otto Chancy là actuellement. Alors elles courent ensemble, elle n'a pas été reprise bien sûr.
So still,
Ensemble
he slipped.
Le passage du trio de tête.
Et on est dans le dernier kilomètre, on va les accompagner au passage sur la ligne, encore 2 tours à parcourir. Hislop qui est en tête pour l'Irlande, qui nique de
So he slipped with 2 laps to go.
Allez,
Out.
qui a de très bonnes références.
Just over 2.5 minutes of running.
Également sur 1500 mètres. Alors attention, c'est le finish.
Looking at a time of inside 13:30, just inside 13:30. The pace is going to quicken over these last 2 laps. Heaslip pushing hard at the moment.
Accélère, Rebecca Loredo qui monte à l'extérieur. On va vivre un dernier tour de
Heaslip wants to leave Pacé with a personal best under her belt.
sur cette course du 10 000 mètres féminin, c'est toujours Ashley
She's doing her best
devant.
to try and make that happen.
L'Italienne s'accroche.
Nick Dominale, well, if she can just hold on to this pace, is guaranteed a big personal best. By how much? Well, probably around 25 seconds as they come up. 500 metres to go, and it's still Shona Heaslip in front.
For leader, 3 athletes, Heaslip, McDowell and Loredo, the Italian athlete.
Well, she's a very experienced competitor at the European Cross-Country Championships as they hear the bell. 32:11. Heaslip's going to have to run really hard over this last lap to get a personal best. But Nick Dominale, well, she's going to make some quite significant inroads into her best time. And that's what these athletes have come here for.
L'Irlandaise là-bas, ligne droite opposée. Elle s'est cachée la plupart du temps.
It's Shona Heaslip's first race of the year, but it's her compatriot, Ida Nick Dominale, who's starting to pull away. Nick Dominale looking very strong as they come round the bend, the last bend in this women's European 10,000 metre Cup B race. Nick Dominale pushing hard, trying to pull away from her compatriot Shona Heaslip and doing a very good job. It's going to be Ida Nick Dominale coming through. 38-year-old mother of 2, 3:38 marathon runner. And this, though, probably the best race of her life ever across any distance, let alone the over 25 laps of the track. So 33:24 for Ida Nick Dominale. Takes 30 seconds off her best. Shona Heaslip, 3:26, just a couple of seconds outside. As the rest of the runners come in, Loredo third, Maridal, who led for so much of the race, fourth.
Le groupe de tête était parti sur les bases de 33 minutes. C'était trop rapide pour ces jeunes filles qui ont relâché un petit peu la
3:09 last kilometre. Excellent running there from Nick Dominale. Shona Heaslip, perhaps a little bit disappointed not to get a personal best, but she ran an excellent race. Just a little bit caught for speed over the course of that last lap as the rest of the runners come on home, some with still a lap to go. Melody Julien just crossing the line, the first of the French women in this race.
Les dernières lignes droites qu'on peut accompagner tous ces athlètes. Louenko qui était parti dans le groupe de tête et qui a complètement, malheureusement pour elle, explosé dans cette deuxième partie de course. C'est aussi ça, 10 000 mètres. C'est une course très longue, très capricieuse au niveau des allures. Et on peut payer
Discussions and congratulations at the finish line as the rest of the runners trail home.
Première et deuxième sur ce 10 000 mètres et ça promet vraiment une course de toute beauté avec une autre irlandaise dans la course.
Et surtout pour celles et ceux qui avaient peur que les chronos ne suivent pas avec les conditions notamment de vent ce soir. Vous voyez dans cette course B déjà Nick Dominale qui pulvérise son record de 30 secondes sur le 10 000 mètres. On le savait que la piste de Pacé a été rapide et favorable.
Discussions between
sur l'écran géant Loredo, l'italienne, qui terminera
Rebecca
troisième
Lonedo,
de cette course.
and the Italian head coach for distance running, Massimo Magnini, very famous marathon runner.
Hubel qui va en terminer pour l'équipe suisse, Selina Hubel.
Here's the Swiss runner coming home, Selina Hummel. Not Hummel's best race,
Le peloton de cette finale B.
2 minutes outside of her best.
Coupe d'Europe 2023.
Norwegians looking pretty happy. Oh, Hummel with a bit of distress. Look on Melody Julien's face says it all. I think she was hoping for a lot more. Came home in 7th place in 34:40. But about a minute and a half outside of her best for the French woman. So as we recap the race with the highlights, and just take a short break from commentary for about 4 minutes.
On a remis le compte tour à 25 pour la prochaine course en quelques instants. On va vous présenter tout ça. Ce sera la finale B du 10 000 mètres masculin de cette Coupe d'Europe 2023.
In a few minutes, it will be the men's 10,000 meters race B.
So there's the confirmed results. Smattering of personal best there. Ida Nick Dominale winning in 33:24:10. Taking quite a significant chunk of time off her personal best. 38 years of age, Ida Nick Dominale. Shout out as well for Lilia Bohm. A bit further down the results, also a big personal best for her. Devora Avramova, the Bulgarian, inside 35 minutes for the first time. Ivana Selva, well, we didn't see where she pulled out, but she was in a bit of trouble from about the halfway point, and the Italian decided to save her energy for another day. Of course, these results will get folded into the results from the women's A race a little bit later to give the team standings. So now we get ready for the men's B race. Should be getting underway just very shortly at 19:30 local time.
présentation de la finale B Coupe d'Europe du 10 000 mètres 2023.
Here's the start list of the men's B race.
For the men's 10,000 meters, race B.
Well, we've got quite a smattering of men under 29 minutes.
De l'Ukraine.
3 men have done it this year, including the fastest man on current form in the field, Omer Akatan. Coming out, it's the 4 Ukrainians, Borodovsky, Koval, Borazov, Romanenko.
Turkey.
Turkey,
Omer Amaktan.
Omer Amaktan. Well, he, if he has a good run, could certainly help Turkey potentially challenge for a medal in the team standings. Here's Sweden's Botarabi and Alberg. Botarabi, 28.45 man at his best, now 33 years of age. Slovak Republic's one and only competitor in Pacé, Peter Durek.
La Slovénie.
Combines running with a job as a full-time osteopath at a local hospital in Banska Bystrica. There's Primoz Kobe of Slovenia. Luis Oliveira of Portugal. Run inside 29 minutes already this year, setting a personal best of 28:53.52 recently. Latvia, Urgis Josis. And the 2 men from Ireland, Conor Bradley and Evan Byrne. I wonder if they're inspired by what they saw in the women's B race, with Einadik Promenel coming home to win, followed home by Shona Heslop. 1 and 2 for Ireland in the women's B race. Marius and Nostu. Two German runners in this race, Malte Plop and Jonathan Dolka. Estonia, Leonid Latsapov.
Autriche.
Austria, Dominique Kampmann.
And completing the lineup from Austria, Dominique Stadelmann. So 19 men in this race, 13 countries represented. As I did for the women's B race, just to mark the card. Well, last year, 12 months ago, it was won by Pasquale Severallo of Italy in 28:30.35. That's possibly the sort of time we're going to be looking at once again. Well, the wind had something of an effect in the women's race, not dramatic, but the women's finishing time was a little bit shy of what we saw 12 months ago, when the weather conditions were a little bit balmier and the wind a bit stiller. Probably getting used to this by now, but it's 25 laps of the track.
As you can notice, there are 2 races for each gender. The best performance for each race will be added. So the best 3 performances for each country. And at the end, we'll have the podium of this European Cup. So now the athletes have been lined up for the start of the race. And as the athletes will be lined up, we'll be able to talk to you about the main athlete we should be able to follow here.
Voilà, du côté de l'Ukraine à suivre Bodan Orosinski qui a déjà réalisé 28, 27, 44 sur la distance. Vous le Vous l'apercevez là sur l'écran géant, l'un des principaux favoris. À suivre également le Turc Ömer Amaktan, 28-40-08. Le Portugais Luis Oliveira qui a le sourire avec un meilleur chrono à 28-53-52. Voilà les trois principaux favoris de cette course B du 10 000 mètres de la Coupe d'Europe.
So they're away, 25 laps of the track. Now the Swedes and the Ukrainians are all bunched together on the first starting line. Makes life a little bit difficult for the likes of myself as a commentator. So Greece's Marius Anagnostou leading the way at the moment. Borodovsky up there as well, the man who was featured in the opening sequence. That's this man on career best, as I said, 27-44.
Et du Portugais Luis Oliveira, forcément, après un tour, ce peloton qui est encore bien compact. Mais regardez, Bogdan Boroditsky qui accélère déjà le rythme. On va également parler de la wake light sur cette course qui est réglée pour la trace verte à 28-30, pour la trace rouge à 29-15.
Voilà, l'équipe
Ukrainians,
qui tente
Borodovsky and Polozov leading the way. Polozov, best at 29.0086, so he'd love to get here. Personal best, go inside 29 minutes for the first time of his life.
Boroditsky qui a relancé l'allure quasiment il y a 400 mètres au passage devant la tribune. C'est lui qui est en tête avec Borodov, l'autre Ukrainien, et le Turc également qui est venu se
through the line in unofficially 2 minutes 15.
Two Ukrainian athletes leading the race right now. Boroditsky and
Tall Turk,
and behind them
Ömer Amaktan,
the athlete from Turkey, Ömer Amaktan.
22 years of age. He's behind the two Ukrainians at the front.
28-30. For the red light,
Well, Amaktan has got some very good credentials in the age group championships to his name. Oh, another shot of our local musicians. So it's Borodovsky and Polozov. We're tracking them at Amaktan. Sweden's Rotarabi in fourth place. Born in Iran. Moved to Sweden a number of years ago.
En troisième position, Ömer Amaktan, le Turc.
Germans up there in that leading group as well. Oh, one of the Ukrainians at the back having problems with the inside rail. So saying, Amaktan, 5 years ago in Yor was the European Under-18 Championship silver medalist over 3,000 metres. And progressed on the following year to take bronze over 3,000 metres at the European Under-20 Championships. So a talent. And a couple of fallow years.
And of course there is the red t-shirt of the Turkish athletes.
Alors sur des bases de 28-20 actuellement,
Still Horodowski,
avec l'impulsion,
Ukrainian
la
record
relance
holder,
des Ukrainiens qui ont
over the
envie
half marathon
de faire un
distance,
coup dans cette course.
60 minutes and 40
Les
seconds.
deux Allemands, Maïté Prop et Jonathan Dunke, dans le groupe.
Et c'est complètement logique car Horodowski a un record en
Horodowski and
28-27,
Porozov,
c'est donc
1 and
tout à
2
fait
at the
normal
moment,
qu'on retrouve aux
and that
avant-postes
group's
de
separating
Nicolas
themselves.
Sébastien Ferrand qui a réalisé cette
Looks
année
like
un collectif
eight-man
très
group.
très dense et l'Ukraine qui pourrait créer une petite
Four
surprise
Ukrainians
avec
in at the moment.
ces trois garçons en tête de course.
And then a little way back to
Sur des bases
the
de
second
28-20,
German Dalka.
si, les Ukrainiens
German
arrivaient à
up there in
rentrer,
penultimate position in that
trois
leading group.
athlètes en dessous de 28-30. On n'en est pas
Malta
là,
Pro.
bien évidemment, pour l'instant. Ça se passe plutôt bien pour l'équipe d'Ukraine et ça relance
Horodowski
encore une
doing well at the
nouvelle
moment.
fois pour tenter d'imprimer encore un rythme beaucoup plus soutenu. Et c'est une nouvelle relance.
A respectable start
Depuis le
at around
début, il n'arrête
29-minute
pas
pace.
Horodowski. Devant Morozov, les deux Ukrainiens aux deux premières places.
2,000 meters in
Il y a également dans ce
5:41.
groupe Romanenko, un autre Ukrainien autour de la 7e place. Donc 3 Ukrainiens dans les 8 premiers, 2 Allemands, un Turc,
So
un
it's quickened
Suédois.
up. It's close to 28-minute pace.
Et si vous vous
I mean,
étonnez
a
de ne
real
pas trouver d'athlète français dans cette course B, c'est
spate of
probablement
personal
bonne
best if they
nouvelle,
can keep this
car
up.
ça veut dire que toute l'équipe de France est en course A, dans la course la plus rapide de cette soirée. Et cela aussi, on rappelle que la France avait remporté les 2 dernières éditions, que ce soit en individuel ou par équipe. Pourquoi pas la passe de 3 avec cette belle équipe de France qu'on retrouvera à 20h45 sur la ligne de départ.
J'ai l'impression que ça ralentit devant, malgré les coups de relance. Nous sommes maintenant sur des bases de 28-30. Porozov qui a pris la tête. On peut souligner le très bon placement de Abotorabi, Mohamed Abotorabi, le Suédois.
Still Horodowski
en
at
quatrième
front.
position.
And his compatriot Porozov.
Et bon,
Amaktan just tracking them.
27 qui date de 2019, mais on sait qu'il est en forme.
Boutarabi, and they've settled into something of a rhythm here. Not much chopping and changing with the order.
C'est
Valan
particulièrement bien préparé
Sirup
pour être
also in there for Ukraine.
pour,
Prop
son
just
pays,
slipping
pour
back a little
l'Ukraine.
bit.
Et on va pouvoir commencer, eh bien, tout simplement à les encourager. 28-40, ça baisse le rythme. On est parti sur des bases de 28-20. Et là, il faut absolument relancer si les athlètes veulent descendre sous les 28-30. Ça se complique un peu et a priori, eh bien, Horodowski l'a bien compris puisque
Now Horodowski starting to push just a little bit. Amaktan following him.
Il fallait absolument aller se placer sur, dans la foulée plutôt de l'Ukrainien.
Les deux favoris qu'on vous avait présentés sur la ligne de départ, qui sont au rendez-vous, Bogdan Horodowski et Omer Amaktan, qui essayent de
This looks like
s'accrocher
a quite
désespérément à cette wingline.
decisive move from the Ukrainian.
Espérer battre leur record personnel, on les a.
Only
actuellement
Amaktan
sur
looking
l'écran
very
géant.
comfortable behind him, the
Horodowski,
two-time medalist at
Amaktan.
European Age Group Championships. Dalka stretching across. Haven't seen too many people taking the water, but Dalka's decided that's the moment.
Le Suédois Mohamed,
Sports psychology student from Cologne. And now, well, they've just concertina back together again after that little surge by Horodowski. He's looking around. He looks as though he wants Amaktan to help out with the pace. Perhaps quite rightly so. He's taken the pace from the outset.
Et Abotorabi, le Suédois.
Jonathan Dahlke, l'Allemand, qui est revenu se placer en 4e position.
And so McTan going to the front now. Amaktan, the Turk, who was recently third in the Turkish 10,000 meters championships, setting that personal best of 28:40.08. He's got two compatriots in the A race. He's flying the flag for Turkey in the B race. Turkey, of course, fantastic tradition in this event. Looking back over the years, well, back in 2008, first Turkish men's winner was Selim Bayrak. 2014, 2015, Polat Arikan took the honours. So 9 laps completed, 16 laps to go, and it's Omer Amaktan in the lead. Turkey also taken the men's team title on one occasion, back in 2014. More success in the women's events. Okay. So Abotorabi leans across, grabs some water. Still warm out there. It's about 22 degrees. Suruk has moved up. Still Amaktan. Say that. Abotorabi goes to the front as they pass the line. 10 laps, 4,000 meters. 11:30, almost exactly. 11:30 what? 30 at 31.
Abotorabi, le Suédois, quatrième relais au Turc Amaktan.
Voilà un relais assez appuyé du Suédois qui tente de relancer l'allure. Il l'a fait quasiment devant la tribune. Le Suédois Abotorabi, Mohamed Abotorabi, qui a tenté de relancer l'allure, mais sur toujours des bases de 28-45. Siruk, Dmitro Siruk, l'Ukrainien qui est le 3e pour l'instant, ça semble se décanter, mais toujours la présence de Amaktan, le Turc.
Now Abotorabi. I think the feeling is perhaps that they want to speed it up. They're at 28:45 pace at the moment, and I think these men would like to get a bit closer to 28 minutes. And so Abotorabi has put a kick in. 14 laps to go in this B race. Horodowski's moved up into second place. Amaktan in third. Well, Abotorabi, 62:40 half marathoner back in 2020. Wonder if he'll take some water this time. Siruk has moved up as well. Sorry, I think I said it was Horodowski. Horodowski slipping back. It's Siruk now.
On a grignoté 2-3 secondes. On est quasiment sur des bases de 28-40.
Abotorabi sur les bases, lui, de son record personnel, quasiment à la seconde près. Et il a le record perso à 28,45 sur la distance. On est complètement sur ses bases. Il a bien géré son effort.
So Abotorabi still leading the way and now starting to put some quite significant distance between himself.
Et c'est un autre Ukrainien, Dmitro Siruk, qui est pour l'instant en
And
deuxième
Ukraine's Dmytro Siruk. Siruk, though, reigning national champion in Ukraine. Uzhgorod was the venue for that. So Abutarabi eschewing the liquid assistance down the back straight. 14:21. So a slight increase in pace. It's been enough to splinter this field. Abutarabi, personal best of 28:45. So he's very slightly on course for a personal best here. That came in the 9th of 10,000 metre 10Ks in London last year. Abutarabi, Siduk, Porozov and Horodovsky.
2, 3, 4, l'équipe d'Ukraine qui place ses coureurs dans cette course B. Abutarabi actuellement sur son record personnel, peut-être légèrement en dessous de 28,45.
Abutarabi just ticking off the laps, looking very comfortable at this stage. Siruk behind him. Well, it's not quite as comfortable looking. Oh, Alberg. Well, the Swede. It's the end of the race for the Swede Alberg. He's quite a long way back, down in about 15th position. It looks as though he's called it a day.
L'Ukrainien, ensuite on retrouve Porosov, notre Ukrainien.
Still going with 11 laps to go. It's Abutarabi and Siruk. The two men occupying first and second place at the moment in this men's B race.
Mohamed Reza from Sweden still leading the race at a very, very regular pace. And it seems that the Turkish athletes, Omer Amaktan,
There's now a 40-metre gap, as you can see. Almost half the length of the back straight between
and also the Swedish athletes, Ole Alberg.
Mohamed Reza Abutarabi and Dmytro Siruk. Rather different to the women's B race, which was a real three-way battle all the way to the line. That looks like another man. That's Kobe, the Slovenian, who's called it a day. 4 times national champion over 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres, as well as a half marathon title to his name. But the Slovenian's not going to play any more part in this race. So 6,000 metres in 17:16. Abutarabi still ticking off the laps in around 68, 69 seconds now. He's on 28:40 pace at the moment. The big question is, can he maintain this pace? Siruk behind him has a best of 28:34, but that comes back in 2012 when he was an under-23 athlete, now 32 years of age. He's not been close to that sort of time in recent times. He did get back to form to win the national title recently. So still Mohamed Reza Abutarabi of Sweden.
9 laps to go for the Swedish athletes. Dmytro Siruk chasing. And Ilya Porozov for Ukraine.
The gap between Abutarabi and Siruk is now extended to around 60 metres, and then it's about another 30 metres back to Porozov. This is quite a commanding run from Abutarabi.
Et devant, toujours le numéro du même garçon, celui que vous avez sur l'écran, Mohamed Reza Abutarabi.
Abutarabi competed in the last European cross-country championships for Sweden. Finished 45th place. Was 9th recently for his club in the European Clubs Cross-Country Championships. It's held in Spain. We'll see a lot more of him on the international circuit. Now he's being cleared to compete for his adopted country of Sweden. Syria just closing slightly. That's the beauty of that timing system that you can see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Well, I think there might have been a glitch there because Durek, I think, is a lap back. We certainly have 3 Ukrainians right up there at the moment. Abutarabi. Well, Siruk is starting to close just slightly.
7 laps to go for Mohamed Reza.
So as you can hear the infield announcer saying 6 laps to go.
For the athletes running around them.
Went through unofficially in around 21 minutes dead. Perhaps even a bit quicker.
Mitro Siruk en deuxième position et le Slovaque Peter Turek qui est maintenant en troisième position. Si on peut tirer des enseignements de ces 2 premières courses, c'est qu'a priori ceux qui décidaient de mener le rythme.
Still sticking to his task. Siruk nibbling into his lead, but not that quickly. About 5 meters a lap at the moment over the course of the last 2 or 3 laps. There's Caval down in 5th place at the moment. Now Durek, double checking, but I think he has moved up to 3rd place at the moment. I was a little bit surprised to see him up there. But it's a good run from the Slovak runner. Haven't seen much of Durek. Just looking back down the field. Siruk now has reduced the gap to about 40 meters. There's only about 5.5 minutes of running left.
Le trio de tête maintenant a changé depuis quelques tours et Abutarabi qui va passer à nouveau sur la ligne. Passage Philippe au 8e kilomètre pour Abutarabi dans quelques instants.
Now it looks like Abutarabi has got a second wind. He's pulling up well as I say that. Well,
2 kilometers left for the man who is leading the race, Mohamed Reza Abutarabi for Sweden. 28.55 is still the pace right now. Philippe?
well, Siruk still fairly consistently around 40 meters behind. Durek has come through well in the middle stages of this race. Porozov and Caval doing well for the Ukrainians. So it's going to be a good Ukrainian showing in this race. Abutarabi coming back into the home straight, and he's picking up the pace again. That's quite clear. So Boutarabi sees just 4 laps to go, 1,600 meters. He goes through in approximately 24:25. So at the moment, he's looking at around 28:40 finishing time. So he'll certainly have in mind improving his personal best of 28:45.44. There's Siruk in second place.
Et pour l'instant, c'est un Suédois qui mène dans la course masculine, course B, et il s'appelle Vandandreza Abotorabi.
But Abotorabi, well, he's done a fine job since taking the lead.
For Siruk, the Ukrainian athlete chasing Vandandreza Abotorabi. 3 laps to go, 3 laps to go.
Retour de l'arrivée.
On va donc
So
rentrer
Abotorabi,
150 mètres
well,
dans le dernier kilomètre. On va regarder le temps de passage au 9e kilo.
been in front since about 4 kilometers into this race, about 10 laps into the race, and he's just carried on, ticking off the laps. 68, 69 second laps, doing a great job. Now taking on a little bit of liquid. There'll be a bit of cleaning up to do after this race is over. About 35 meters in arrears, passing on the liquid. It's Dmytro Sirok. They've just got about a kilometre to go now. And time is running out if Dmytro Sirok is to get back on level terms with Mohamed Reza Abotorabi up in front. Well, they're just lapping. Just lapping one of the Ukrainians and one of the Irishmen. As Abotorabi now tries to work hard. Well, it's saying about 25 meters between Abotorabi and Siruk. I think it might be a little bit more. But Siruk, no doubt at all, working really, really hard. The Ukrainian. Now going past his compatriot, Romanenko, one of the Irishmen. That's Conor Bradley being lapped as well. So Abotorabi comes round to hear the bell. He's got about another 70 seconds of running. So 27:59 unofficially at the bell. So he's slowed, but so has the rest of the field. Going to try and uncork something close to a 60-second last lap if he's to get inside 29 minutes. That might be a bit of a tall order, but nevertheless, Mohamed Reza Abotorabi is battling his way home. That to me looks like a much bigger gap between Abotorabi back to Siruk than the 27 meters or a bit more that you're seeing on the screen. That looks more like 45 meters to me. As Abotorabi comes around. And he comes into the home straight for the last time. It's Mohamed Reza Abotorabi. He's not going to make it inside 29 minutes. What a pity. No personal best for Mohamed Reza Abotorabi. But the Swede takes the plaudits in the B race. 29:04.97 unofficially. Dmytro Sirok coming in just a little bit behind him. And then an extremely good run from Peter Durek.
Abotorabi wins this race at 29:04.
Durek might be very close to his personal best. So slowing over the last few laps, but then everybody else was doing that. It was hard work over those last couple of laps for Abutarabi, the Swede. Dimitra Sirok, 29:08, so 4 seconds behind Abutarabi. You can see the trackside counter. And a shout out for Peter Durok. Takes about a second and a half off his personal best. So it was worth the effort for the Slovak athlete. Now 30 years of age, based in Banska Bystrica. There's Evan Byrne. Byrne, probably just outside his best. We'll give you confirmation of the results very shortly. So just a few more of the 19 men in this field to come home. Seen a few drop out.
Qui avait découvert la France lors des championnats d'Europe de cross hier en 2015, où il avait bagarré avec un certain Jimmy Gressier et qui se retrouve cette année sur la piste de Pacé avec son tout.
I think there's a few personal bests further down. I'm just looking down since we saw Evan Byrne. I think he's taken about 7 seconds off his personal best, the Irishman. The men coming home now, about a lap and a half in arrears as we just complete the finishers in this B race for the men's 10,000 metres at the European 10,000 metres Cup. So here's the highlights, how it all unfolded here in Pacé in the men's B race. So Mohamed Abutarabi takes the honours in 29:04.95. Dimitra Sirek following him home in second. Peter Durok getting a personal best, 29:14.33. Dominik Stadelmann of Austria down there in seventh, also getting a personal best as well. My maths was a little bit askew. I said Evan Byrne got a personal best, just outside it. Just wondering, well, Omar Hamaktan, who we saw doing very well up until the first half of the race, deciding to drop out. It is windy out there. Just wondering how much of an effect that has had on the runners. So in just a few minutes' time, in just 3 minutes' time, the women's A race will get underway. There's the lineup. Moira Stuartova.
Présentation de la finale A du 10 000 mètres de cette Coupe d'Europe 2023 féminine.
Next race, the women's 10,000 meters, race A.
27 athlètes au départ. Et on va commencer par la délégation de l'Ukraine.
Ukraine,
Victoria Kamiusna, Yevgenia Prokofieva, Valeria Zinenko. La Turquie,
Turkey, Bahar Atalay, Yayla Gomez, Fatma Karasu.
la Slovénie,
Slovenia,
Lisa Sage. Portugal,
Portugal, Catalina Ribeiro.
Italie,
Italy,
Anna Arnaudo, Giovanna Efis, Sara Destora, Elisa Palmero. Irlande,
Well, as we look at the teams coming out from behind the curtain, we've already seen teams from Ukraine, Turkey, Slovenia, Portugal and Italy. There's
Dominika Mayer,
Eobe Richardson, and now the Germans. Lena Ray, Dominika Meyer, Eva Dietrich,
Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Abby
Great Britain, Northern Ireland, trio of Rebecca Murray, Hannah Irvin and Abby Donnelly.
Espagne,
Spain,
Spain's Cristina Ruiz
Esther Navarrete,
finished second in the recent Trofeo Iberica.
Ruiz,
Cristina Ruiz is accompanied by Laura Piego and Esther Navarrete.
Czech Republic,
Moira Stuartova. Stuartova setting a national record in last year's race.
la Belgique,
Belgium,
Belgians Chloe Herbiet,
la France,
and
France,
the French duo
Mélanie Allier,
of Mekdes Waldu and Melanie Allier coming out. Waldu, now 30 years of age, a personal best of 32:11. So 27 women in this A race. Gold medals to be decided both in the individual race and also in the team competition.
On vous rappelle que pour l'instant, c'est l'équipe d'Irlande qui a pris les devants dans cette Coupe d'Europe avec les deux premières places de cette finale B qui a eu lieu tout à l'heure. Et on va retrouver dans quelques instants la présentation sur la ligne de départ de tout ce peloton de féminine. C'est la course
You can see there the wind hasn't abated. It's still very strong out there.
des Philippe, comme à l'habitude. On va notamment mettre un point d'honneur à présenter quelques athlètes qui seront favorites de cette course.
and while the athletes are being lined up, it's interesting to go back to race B, where the Irish team had managed to
So the women
have the
just
two
getting themselves ready.
two first in the race. So of course, keep an eye on
As the final check, there's a very big field of 27 women. I think they're using 2 start lines, as we've seen already in both the B races. There's the Ukraine trio. Kaliadzina, Prokofieva and Zinenko. As we quickly whip across the women in the first start line. There's Nestala, Epis and Ranaldo. There's the very good German trio of Ray, Dietrich and Maya. 4 Spaniards in this A race. Big smile from Maitan Melero.
On n'oubliera pas, regardez sur l'écran, Mektes Voldu, 6e de la Coupe d'Europe l'an passé. Elle a réalisé 2h26-34 à Hambourg sur le marathon, soit une très très grosse performance, un record personnel pour Mektes Voldu, la française, en 32 minutes 11 secondes et 72 centièmes.
So the championship record had stood at 30:21:67 to Elvan Eblegassi of Turkey. That was set back in 2006. Might be a bit of a tall order for any of the women to get close to that. Their target times, well, probably 32:20. It's not been announced yet, but that was the target. That was the qualifying time for the last European Championships. We're expecting qualifying times to come up in a couple of months' time, probably around the August-September time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's announced as that sort of time. Just a reminder, Germany the defending champions. But Great Britain and Northern Ireland have had a terrific record in this race in recent years, winning the team title on no less than 5 of the last 7 occasions prior to today. Big question mark we have is how good a form is Alina Ray in at the moment. Well, she had some very good early season outings, including a good 68:42 half marathon in Seville. But at the German 10,000 metre championships in Mittweida recently, could only finish 5th. Ray, of course, fantastic competition record in the younger age groups. And it is Ray who's tracking Ukrainian Sinenko at the moment. So Ray, who finished 2nd last year, in 2nd place at the moment, leading the way. Valeria Zinenko. Zinenko 4th 12 months ago when we were back in Pacé, and already the field is rather strung out. Kofieva, Maya, so it's Ukraine, Germany, and then Eva Dietrich in 4th. Mektes Woldu. Really good personal best of 2:26:34 in the Hamburg Marathon back in April. So she's in shape. So, after 2 laps, 800 metres in 2:33 unofficially.
Pas de route d'observation. Alinare part actuellement avec Zinenko l'Ukrainien.
Let's see what the time is through 1 kilometre. It's coming up to the kilometre point. So Zinenko and Ray pushing the pace between them at the moment. 3:11.
The red wave light is on 32:30.
Alinare et Zinenko qui sont juste derrière à la vague.
31:45 pace roughly at the moment as they come through to complete the third lap. 3:49. So good pace at the moment between Ray and Zinenko. Well, Zinenko's already run 10,000 metres this year. She won the Ukraine National Championships in Uzhgorod back in April in 32:24. That was a personal best of 31:55. Well, that time came in the European 10,000 metres final last summer in Munich when she finished 7th.
Ce sont les deux seuls athlètes qui ont déjà couru sous les 32 minutes sur cette distance du 10 000 mètres sur piste.
There's already a 25-metre gap between the leading pair and the rest. Well, Lena Ray at this stage looking as though she's had no ill effects of that race, which was a below par race, I think has to be said, about a month ago. She could only finish 5th in the German National Championships. Did have a good outing on the track over 3,000 metres. 8:55 in a mixed competition a week or so after that. But at the moment it's Zinenko and Ray battling at the front. Kofieva, easy to spot with those sunglasses. It's bright out there, but she's probably one of the few athletes who's actually wearing sunglasses this evening. Still quite warm out there. At the moment, no doubt at all, it's the Germans well in the lead in terms of the team competition. And Ukraine in second place.
On attendait ce match entre ces deux athlètes.
So Alina Ray suggesting to Zinenko that she does a bit of the work. Ray moving out to the second lane, then just tucking in behind Zinenko. And of course, well, she finished one place behind Zinenko in that Munich 10,000 metres last summer. She was the European Under-23 champion over this distance in 2019. I remember watching her win that gold medal when we were in Gävle in Sweden. And we're back later this summer with the European Age Group Championships, and of course there will be live streaming through the European Athletics YouTube channel. First of all, we have the European Team Championships coming up later this month when we go to the Slaski Stadium in Silesia for the European Athletics Team Championships, which will see all three divisions contested over the course of a week between the 20th and 25th of June. July 14th to the 17th of July, we have the European Under-23 Championships in Espoo in Finland, and then in August the European Under-20 Championships in Jerusalem, the venue for the European Under-18 Championships last year, and we are back in Israel this summer once again. And there'll be live streams of all those championships on the European Athletics YouTube channel. And of course, there'll also be, just like there is tonight, live results on the European Athletics website, www.european-athletics.com. So you can keep bang up to date with every single result, including detailed analysis of each of these races tonight. Well, Ray still striding out in front, Zinenko shadowing her, and then more than 50 meters back to the pack, led by Dominika Meyer and Eva Dietrich, the two Germans. Now Ray starting to work hard as well. Quick glance behind to see where Zinenko is, and Zinenko's drifting back. So 7 laps completed, 18 to go, in around 8:55 for Ray. And Ray is starting to pull away. Well, just like last year when we saw Yasmin Chan pull away from Ray, Ray is doing the same to Valeria Zinenko. And Ray really just picking up her stride and moving so smoothly. Well, she was disappointed with finishing back in 8th at last year's European Championships, especially after she got a bronze medal in 2018.
C'est exactement ça, la wave light vert qui est en train d'être rattrapée par Aline Arret, qui est sur les bases donc de 31-30. Et pour celles qui sont au niveau de la wave light rouge, comme le gros du peloton qui passe à l'instant sur la
Meyer leading the pack, Waldo up there as well at the moment. Waldo, as I said, really good outing at the Hamburg Marathon when she set a personal best of 2:26:34. Zinenko now in no man's land. 30 odd meters between Zinenko and Ray up in the front, and then 50 meters back to the chasing group. Still quite a big group of women in that chasing group.
L'an passé, elle avait terminé 2e de cette Coupe d'Europe derrière Yasmin Khan et elle avait couru en 32-39. Elle est sur les mêmes 31-39, pardon, elle est sur les mêmes bases cette année.
See there, chasing group now with Waldo up front and Dietrich, the tall figure with the ponytail of Dominika Meyer, just a little bit further back, also up there on the curb, Mora Stuartova. Stuartova, as I said, memorably set a national record in this race last year, 32:08.
Et l'autre française, Mélanie Allier, bien cachée dans ce groupe, bien à l'abri du vent, qui est sur des très très bonnes bases pour pulvériser.
So Ray, well, she does like to get out in front and run her own race. And this is what she's doing here. Zinenko now, 40 odd meters back. But then there's about a 60-meter gap. It's almost 70 meters to the big group behind her. The big group not really making much of an impression on Zinenko. If anything, they're looking around at each other just a little bit. And Waldo got to the front. There hasn't been much of an increase in pace. The women behind her are going to have to start moving, are going to have to start working a little bit faster and better to haul in Zinenko. Zinenko's just too good a runner to wilt. Now Stuartova to the front.
The chasing group led by the Czech. The athlete from Czech Republic, Moira.
Now Stuartova finished 40th in the European Championship Marathon last year as the best of 2:29, but probably hasn't realised her potential yet over that distance. She's coming back to the roads.
Ali Larrey, toujours devant sur un chrono quasiment en dessous.
So just a sip of water for Karasu, the Turk, also part of that big chasing pack who are dueling for third place at the moment, but it's still Alina Ray with 14 laps to go, who's just carrying on almost metronomically, battling her way around the Stade Chasseboeuf. Sinenko now 65 metres back. And then another 65 metres back to the chasing group as Alina Ray goes round Lisa Zahn. First runner to be lapped, the Slovenian. Stuartova, Dietrich, Meyer, Waldo, Karasu. Those are the women in third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh at the moment. See the yellow singlet of Prokofieva tucked in there as well towards the back of that leading group.
Elle va être à 13 tours de l'arrivée. C'est-à-dire que dans 200 mètres, on va atteindre la mi-course.
Hannah Irwin just looking a bit tired at this stage. Hasn't run a 10,000 metres, but last year she was a 32:25 performer.
Valeria Zinenko, l'Ukrainienne, elle sur des bases de 31, 50, quasiment en dessous de 32.
But it's still Alina Ray in front.
Stuartova, la Tchèque devant Dietrich et Meyer, les deux Allemandes. Toujours la présence dans ce groupe aux avant-postes de Mendes Vodou. La très belle course également de...
So 5,000 metres in 15:50 exactly. You don't need to be a great mathematician to work out that that's going to be 31:40 pace. So good effort from Alina Ray at the moment. Well, about 20 seconds outside her best. Perhaps tonight's not the night for her best, but there's only ever been one German winner at the European 10,000 metres cut before in the women's races. Sabrina Mokenhout. Mokenhout winning back in 2005.
12 laps to go.
And it's looking at this stage as though it's going to be Germany first in the individual race and first in the team standings. Dietrich and Meyer working hard together, swapping in front of the leading pack as Ray goes round another of the laps runners. It's Allier of France. There's Sinenko, now 80 metres back. But the chasing pack so far hasn't really made any inroads into the gap between themselves and Sinenko. But Maya looks as though she's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Once again, that pack has been strung out. But Alina Ray just carrying on, running so quickly. Alina Ray doing a really good job out on her own.
Donc un groupe quasiment en dessous de 33 minutes.
Just a reminder, 15:50 at 5K. That puts her on course for 31:40 pace.
Car il y a les deux Françaises dans ce groupe, donc Mayer, Dieterich, Woldou, Mélanie Allier qui tente actuellement de s'accrocher à ce groupe à 11 tours de l'arrivée.
Allez, la balle allemande au niveau de la rivière de Stiep qui mène avec presque 100 mètres d'avance. C'est la très grande.
So now the gap between Ray and Zinenko, as Ray just looks over her shoulder. There isn't anyone there. They're on the. They haven't even entered the home straight yet. Zinenko 90 meters back. Meyer and Dietrich leading the pack as they've done before. They haven't made any inroads into Zinenko as well. Zinenko still running well in second place, but a long, long way behind Ray. It's about 90 meters back, but from this woman, Valeria Zinenko, to this group led by Meyer and Dietrich, the two Germans. Now Meyer just moves over into the second lane, inviting Eva Dietrich to come through and take a bit of the burden at making the pace at the front. Waldo in 5th place at the moment.
Voilà, il faut accélérer. Il faut relancer l'allure dans ce groupe. Il ne faut pas les laisser faire, il faut y aller. Mendes Woldou est en train d'appuyer peut-être sur l'accélérateur. C'est bien.
Valeria Zinenko running a very solitary race in second place at the moment, as Waldo goes to the front.
Mendes Woldou qui accélère.
Alina Ray though. This group now starts to get ever more detached from Zinenko.
31:48 is the pace right now for her, but she's alone leading the race. Varia Zinenko, the Ukrainian.
Alina Ray now 90 meters gap. It stayed pretty constant over the last 500 meters or so between herself and Zinenko. The main pack has drifted back just a little bit from Zinenko. Wondering what Zinenko's got left in her legs. Zinenko close to her personal best at the moment of 31:55. That personal best came, as I said a little bit earlier, in this race in the European Championships final in Munich last August. And she actually finished in front of Ray on that occasion. But on this occasion, well, there's about 10 minutes more of running to go. Zinenko just checking where the chasing group are. But she's actually put even more distance between herself. It's about 110 meters now. So Zinenko just going through the line. So the chasing group isn't making any real effort to haul in Zinenko. Dietrich towing them again. Waldo Meyer and Stuartova showing. A couple of Turks in there as well. Gonan and Karasu. Distance back to Zinenko, remaining pretty constant at around 90 meters. And the Italians just about to be overhauled and lapped by the main group. So 7 laps to go for Alina Ray.
Et on vous rappelle qu'il y aura surtout un classement par équipe. Les 3 meilleurs chronos par nation sont additionnés pour obtenir le classement général final.
Classement par équipe pour l'instant.
Less than 3 kilometers for Ray and Zinenko, both vastly experienced over this distance. Eva Dietrich now. Doing a fine job at the front, Dietrich. She's running close to her personal best in those German championships recently. Dietrich did run a personal best of 32.17. She's not far from that at the moment if she can just hold her form. It's still a big gap. Half the lap of this Stade Chesberth behind Alina Ray. Zinenko, well, she looks as though she's picked up the pace just a little bit. Very helpful, that dynamic leaderboard telling us that Zinenko's clawed back about 10 meters on Ray. Not much distance though between the chasing pack and the leaders. That's remained fairly constant. So Alina Ray doing a fantastic job up the front.
Alors le fait qu'il y ait ce groupe derrière, avec notamment 3 Espagnols, avec 2 Ukrainiennes, avec 2 Allemandes, eh bien, ça fait le jeu tout simplement de l'équipe d'Allemagne qui est en train de placer.
She's still sticking to her task, Ray, metronomically churning out those laps at around 76 seconds. Zinenko fractionally slower, but she's still doing a really good job. These women on course for about 32.15. So Zinenko, about 80 meters back still. As Alina Ray enters the home straight. Should say the back straight. Coming around the hammer cage.
Voilà, effectivement, tu as raison de le préciser. On est quasiment autour de...
So this group going through with 5 laps to go. 26.23 unofficially, starting to break up a little bit. I think that's the Spaniards. Spaniards have Ruiz and Naravet in there. One of the other Spaniards coming off the back. I think that was Laura Priego. 2 Turks having a good race. Gunan, best of 32.53. She's currently about 30 seconds inside that. Karasu, 32.51. So the same analysis applies. So the 2 Turks are running 30 seconds inside their best at the moment. And they're just starting to eat into that advantage, that deficit behind Valeria Zinenko. And it has to be said, Zinenko's starting to look a little bit tired. Ray still ploughing away in front though, doing a fine job.
Mélanie Allier qui passe sur la ligne à son tour à 4 tours de l'arrivée pour l'équipe de France. Et toujours le cavalier seul d'Alina Ray qui se retourne pour jauger sa centaine de mètres d'avance sur...
Well, the pace now has just drifted outside 32 minutes over the last couple of laps as Ray has started to tire just a little bit. So just 3 laps to go for Alina Ray. 28:25 unofficially. So somewhere around 32:10 at the moment for Alina Ray, assuming that there's a bit of a speeding up over the last lap, although she won't need to clinch this competition. She has visibly slowed over the course of the last couple of laps after looking on course for a sub 32 minute clocking. She's now at about 32:10. But nobody to challenge her with kilometre to go. 29:04. Zinenko, well, with less than a kilometre to go, Zinenko's just running out of track. She's 75 metres behind. The women behind her are speeding up and closing down on Zinenko. But with 2 laps to go, well, Zinenko's got to make up most of a straight. Malero of Spain, we saw her on the start line, just about to get lapped. Herbiet having a good run behind Ray and Zinenko, leading the main group now. Dietrich's gone backwards, started to struggle. Gonan having an excellent race, the Turk. So there's a chasing group of 4 now of Herbier, Waldu, Gonan and Maya. And then a little bit of a gap back to another group of athletes led by Carasu with Ruiz in there as well. And Navret. But it's still Alina Ray. So she hears the bell. Going through in 31:02 unofficially. So the winning time's going to be outside 32 minutes. About 32:15 we're looking at, I think. Ray picking it up. Trying to finish with a flourish, the German. There's no doubt at all. Well, here's the battle for 3rd place going on at the moment. This is the battle for 3rd as they're coming down the back straight. But down the home straight, picking up and sprinting for home. It's Alina Ray. 2nd 12 months ago in Pacé. Alina Ray is going to be the 2023 European 10,000 metre cup winner as she's chased home by Valeria Zinenko of Ukraine. Well, they were 7th and 8th in Munich. This time, they're 1st and 2nd. Reversal of the positions from 12 months ago. And Dominika Maya wins the sprint for bronze, really closing down on the leading pair over the course of that last lap. So 32:15:49 for Alina Ray unofficially. Zinenko 32:23, I think it said on the scoreboard. She's happy. That's a return to form. Not her best race ever, but certainly a really good one. And I'm pretty sure with Dominika Meyer coming through for third place, just confirmation there of Eva Dietrich. Well, I think she finished about 8th. Dietrich will be the third scorer for Germany, and that makes them team champions once again. There's Zinenko. Well, she ran a really good race after getting detached from Alina Ray. Happened about just before 3 kilometers into the race, and she had to just focus and ran a solitary race. But Zinenko coming through a very, very good second place. We can see the rest of the women coming home. This is Ribeiro, Portuguese runner, and Malero, the Spaniard. There's the Spaniards, Ruiz and Perego. Well, it's possible they'll be in the medals as far as the team competition is concerned. Malero coming through. Don't think she's going to be amongst the scoring trio for the Spaniards. Just wait for confirmation of the results. Just looking down, I can see that the Germans had 3 in the top 8, so I'm pretty sure, subject to confirmation as we see the highlights of that race, that makes Germany the team champions as they retain their title from 12 months ago.
Alina, so you won this race, but the conditions were not very easy. Alina, tu as gagné cette course, mais les conditions climatiques n'étaient pas très simples.
Yeah, it was a really, really tough race. I think I hadn't such a tough 10K race. The wind was so hard, and I think my hairs are not the best in this condition. Maybe I have to cut them or something like that. Yeah, but I think the audience were great, and thank you that you'll be here and cheering for us. And yeah, we were in the German team. We wanted to go. This was our aim. I think Dominika finished in third. Yeah, and next year we will be back, but with less wind. If you promise us a little bit less wind, then we will be back.
Donc elle nous explique que la course n'a pas été simple, elle espérait courir plus vite, mais le vent n'a vraiment pas été facile. Elle nous explique même que peut-être qu'elle va se couper les cheveux parce qu'elle se rend compte que c'est pas la meilleure coiffure pour le vent. Et elle dit aussi qu'elle pense que sa coéquipière, donc Dominika, a fini 3e, donc voilà, l'équipe a priori va prendre la médaille d'or et elle vous remercie de l'avoir aidée sur la course. Thank you very much, Alina.
Merci beaucoup, Alina, qu'on peut applaudir. Un petit mot de maîtresse Vaudou, on y a cru à cette 3e place, une grosse accélération là-bas à 300 mètres de l'arrivée, peut-être une accélération un peu trop brutale au départ.
Oui, bon, j'ai essayé, mais c'est un peu comme quand même avec le vent, c'est un peu compliqué. J'ai vraiment souhaité d'avoir une médaille cette année, mais bon, c'est pas le cas. J'espère une autre fois. Et je peux dire que j'ai récupéré petit à petit. Je suis à 1 mois et demi de marathon et du coup je suis très contente quand même d'avoir ici aujourd'hui à Pacé comme l'année passée. Et merci à tous pour l'encouragement. J'ai écouté ce moment pendant que je cours. Merci bien.
C'est important ce qu'on dit de l'équipe de France. C'est important bien sûr d'avoir sur les épaules.
Oui, franchement c'est très important. Surtout je suis très contente d'être là encore avec les jeunes. Mélanie qui a été aussi top aujourd'hui avec moi. Et Méline, Mélodie et Aude aussi, le premier sur trophée. Je félicite également Oki qui a défendu, qui a couru jusqu'au bout aujourd'hui. Et on est très content d'être là. Je peux dire que je pense que c'est la grande. Et au nom de toute l'équipe de France, je vous remercie beaucoup.
Merci. Mettez vos genoux pour pas applaudir, s'il vous plaît. Merci.
Well, I hope you enjoyed those highlights of the women's A race. And Alina Ray taking the honours in 32:15:47. There's the official results. Valeria Zinchenko second, Dominika Maya third. And a shout out for Yaila Gunan on a difficult day with blusting wind. The Turk in sixth place, setting a personal best of 32:43. A couple more personal bests there for Elisa Palmero. Hannah Irwin, well, we saw her struggling a little bit into that earlier in that race. She failed to finish. And hopefully we'll get the team standings as well, because, yes, Germany, well, that was fairly predictable. 1:37:40, so the Germans, with 3 in the top 8, retain their title. Spain and Ukraine will stand on the podium. Spain doing well. Esther Navet and Christina Ruiz coming in for the Spaniards in the top 10, and then they had to wait for Laura Priego to come through. But they just go through as we see the start list for the men's 10,000 metres final. So from Turkey, it's Sezgin Atak, European under-20 bronze medalist back in 2017. Italy, now this is a very strong quartet indeed. Mondazzi, Faniel, Ekaskanet, and Yamani Bahan Kripa and Elias Oani. Israel, though, could really battle for a place on the podium with Aboye, Ayala, Belachu, Chakole and Getahon. Ireland have Fergal Curtin coming through the curtain, if you'll pardon the pun. Germany, Tekla Bahan Berhe, shorter of the two, and Jan Lucas Becker. Oh, the British have been practicing something. Anyway, it's Matthew Leach, Thomas George, and Jack Gray representing Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Now, this is a very good, strong Spanish quartet. Iago Rojo, Jesus Ramos, Juan Antonio Perez, Ilas FIFA, and Roberto Alais. Andres Veuter, the seasoned Austrian, holds a myriad of Austrian records. It's 34 next Tuesday. And of course, coming out last, the home nation, Felix Bour, Etienne Daguanos, Mehdi Frere, Valentin Gondouan, and Fabien Paucao.
L'équipe de France qui reste sur 2 titres par équipe dans cette Coupe d'Europe, et pourquoi pas la phase 3 avec cette équipe extrêmement complète et compacte. Morad Abdouni l'avait emporté il y a 2 ans en individuel, Jimmy Gressier l'an passé. Cette équipe de France qui va aller se classer.
28 men in this field from 12 different countries. On career bests, I make it 9 men who've run under 28 minutes. The championship record has stood since 1999 to Spain's Fabian Roncero at 27:14:44.
équipe de France qui sera emmenée par le champion de France, Valentin Grondouin, le Normand qui hier nous confiait qu'avec cette belle équipe de France, il voulait perpétuer la tradition et honorer les...
So we're ready to go with the last event on the track tonight in Pacé, the men's A race. Yamani Bahan Kripa, the European Athletics Championships gold medalist from 12 months ago. There he is, alongside his older brother. 2 years difference between Yamani Bahan Kripa and his older brother Nakaganet. Elias Awani as well. Very, very good runner. So this is a very big field indeed. 31 men in this competition. And of course the French. Well, they've won the men's team title on the last two occasions in 2022 and 2021. Can they make a hat-trick? I have my doubts. I just think that the Italians and the Spanish just look that much stronger, including this man, Elias FIFA, who won the Trofeo Iberico back in March in a very useful 27:59.76. Well, last year, of course, there was plenty to cheer for the French crowd. The race won by Jimmy Gressier, the Frenchman, who's dropped down distance and set a personal best on Tuesday night in the Monterey meeting over 1,500 metres. Well, Gressier was plying his trade over the longer distance last year. Ran 27:24.51. Third fastest ever time by a Frenchman. Winning by almost half a lap.
On va dire un mot sur cette équipe de France qui va en découdre sur cette Coupe d'Europe. Philippe Secours, qui connaît bien ici Pacé, un record personnel à 27,58.
Not many of the top
22.
finishers from last year in this competition for all sorts of different reasons. We lost Carlos Mayo, second last year, and Ephraim Giddy, the Irishman, who was sixth. Nils Voigt, who ran very good 27:30. They were all supposed to be here, but for one reason or another, injury, lack of form, decided to pull out at the last minute. But instead it's Chiqui Perez, Juan Antonio Perez, locally known as Chiqui, who's gone to the front. Vastly experienced runner in this competition. Perez, now 34 years of age, looking very determined. Competed in no less than 6 previous European Cups. Finished second in 2016 and 2017, as well as back in 2015. I missed the 2015 race. He's actually running 7 European Cup 10,000 metres and finished second on 3 occasions. So let's keep an eye out, coming round to the 1 kilometre mark very shortly. Awani, Kripa, as expected, up there. Gondouin, the Frenchman, also there. Well, the pace has just slowed down just a little bit after that quicker early 2 laps down the back straight. Hasn't been quite as quick.
Devant Awani et Perez, 2 Italiens aux avant-postes et 3 Français, 4 Français même dans le top 8. Les Frères Valentin Baudouin, Fabien Falco, Étienne Daguinos pour son premier 10 000 mètres de sa carrière.
And as we expected, Yemane Beran
So now it's Yemane Beran Cripper. He hasn't really wasted much time, has he?
right behind him is
Just coming through. This is the third lap. 22 to go.
And the Spanish athletes.
And he's been followed by Elias Ouani.
3 athletes that are leading the race right now.
Cripper has the best Italian national record of 27:10:76. That came in the final of the 2019 World Championships. He's the only man in this field with a career best faster than the cup record. He said he's coming here determined to really make a statement. Had a solid marathon debut in Milan at the start of April. Was hoping to do a little bit better, just inside 2:09. A recent road race about 2 weeks ago in Monza, but otherwise he's been training at high altitude in the Italian Alps. It's Elias Ouani who takes the lead instead. Well, it's a pretty useful pace at this stage. This 31-man field strung out.
2 Italian athletes leading the race. Spain and France for the team.
Yemane Beran Cripper,
21
a really good record in continental competition. Second in the European Cross-Country Championships in 2019, which in many respects was his halcyon year, despite the fact that he won the gold medal in Munich last year. Finished 4th, struggled a little bit. There was a huge amount of medals. He was also European under-20 cross-country champion in 2014 and 2015. 10,000 metres, of course, he won this event in 2019. Not been too many repeat winners. Last man to win 2 titles, and he did so back-to-back, was the Turk, Polat Arikan, won in 2012, 2014 and 2015. Apart from Arikan and Dieter Baumann, the German, they're the only 2 double champions at this event, as Elias Ouani picks up the pace. And it's Elias FIFA, who's chasing him now. This is starting to turn into a really good race. Urged on by the local musicians, traditional Breton music, using the pipes. So it's Ouani, FIFA and Cripper really pushing the pace at the moment. Frère George Daguinos hanging on. Now well into the second kilometre.
Premier 10 000 mètres, l'équipe de France lui a fait confiance suite à ses grosses performances sur 5000 cet été. Et pour l'instant, la confiance est rendue par Étienne Daguinos qui est aux avant-postes.
Elias FIFA for Spain. Yemane Beran Cripper for Italy. Elias Ouani, Italy. And Petit Frère for France.
That's FIFA now to the front. 18 laps to go, 7 completed. The tall, long-legged Spaniard striding out.
FIFA l'Espagnol. Gripa en deuxième position. Toujours pour l'instant dans sa foulée Awali. Les Italiens qui veulent absolument imposer.
And now it's Cripper back in front again. Cripper, well, he hasn't run a 10,000 metres since Munich. He's been concentrating on the roads and training. For these men, it's worth mentioning, World Championship qualifying time is 27:10. Be a personal best for every single one of them. But there's men who they're out there capable of doing it, not least of which are the three men up front. So it's a group of 4 athletes, as you can hear the infield announcers saying, that are starting to get away from the rest, just very slightly. Also up there, Mady Frère, based in Paris. 26 years of age now, Frère. Had a good set of road results last year. He's already run 13:15 on the track for 5,000 metres. That was a personal best, which he ran just last weekend in Ordingen. So he's in shape. Now FIFA moves out. And Frère, well, does his bit to the front, but he's slowed the pace down.
The athletes are turning around, looking at each other. Who's going to be leading for the next few meters, the next few laps? Mady Frère is now ahead. Awani behind him. And Ilias Kipa.
So it's Frère going to the front.
Kipa and Agostinos.
Frère, best of 28:03. His personal best. Coming in the European 10,000 metres Cup in Birmingham 2 years ago. Pushing the pace along nicely. Shout out a bit further back for the Israeli, Tadessa Getahon. Getahon won medals in age group levels only 2 weeks ago. Set a personal best of 27:33.99. He's actually the fastest man in this field out of those who've already run 10,000 metres this year. Getahon down in 6th at the moment. As the leading group expands, they caught Frère, Luani, Cripper, FIFA at the front. Aguinos, who's up there as well, the other Frenchman. George having a good race as well, the Briton. Thomas George, based formerly at the University of Missouri. 28:06, which he ran in California in Walnut almost a month ago to the date, on the 6th of May. So he's had one good 10,000 metre race already. It's still Mady Frère in front.
Et les 5 garçons de l'équipe de France qui sont dans ce groupe de tête, Père Dakinos pour Bourgoin et Fabien Falco. De très très bon augure pour le classement final.
Voilà, les Français sont présents, ils sont bien placés, ils sont 4 là dans le groupe.
Still Frère doing a lot of the hard work at the front.
Bien placés comme ils le sont actuellement. C'est d'être un peu en retrait.
Frère made his debut in the marathon, in the Paris Marathon in April. So he's bouncing back from a debut marathon like Cripper. 2:11 for him. Not perhaps quite what he was hoping for, like Cripper. solid performance rather than spectacular, but it's still Frere up the front. FIFA, Ioane, Gripper, all of them looking very relaxed at this stage. So coming round, 13 laps to go. We'll be at the halfway point. Down the back straight. It's pretty even in the team competition at the moment between Italy and Spain as well. Let's keep an eye on the clock. They're outside 28 minutes though. At this stage it will get quicker, I think. 14:13:55. So we're looking at 28:25 pace at the moment. So not quite the pace that we saw last year. Now it's FIFA starting to inject a little bit more pace. Well, they're clocking outside 68-minute pace at the moment. They're going to want to many of these men are going to want to increase that. It is a cup race. It is with medals at stake for both individuals and teams. The purpose is also sometimes to come here and get good, fast runs as well. Now FIFA, I don't think he can be blamed. He's taken on a fair bit of the pace. Frere as well. Let's get on. Oh. That's Nekaganet. Cripper dropping out. Well, Nekaganet Cripper. Former world junior marathon mountain running champion. Sub 28-minute man himself, but not today. Just wondering whether that could damage Italian aspirations of taking the team title.
Et là surtout ce qu'on est en train de remarquer c'est que la mise en avant de Guétaon, israélien, a fait complètement étirer ce
So Tedessa Getahun takes the lead for the first time, gets into the front, being chased by Yamani Bahan Cripper and Elias Ioane. Getahun, silver medalist over 10,000 metres at the European Under-23 Championships in Yevla back in 2019. Very impressive performance from the Israeli on that occasion. If I remember rightly, Israel's first ever medal at those championships, and he's carried on getting better and better. Just wonder though how much he's got left in his legs after that 27:33 performance in London just a couple of weeks ago.
Two athletes from Israel in the fourth first. Two athletes from Israel in the five first. Two athletes from
Well, last year he was disqualified.
team is behind.
Can't exactly remember what he was disqualified for, to be honest. But he certainly. He's bounced back and set a national record in London. So I'm just wondering how he's going to go here. They're not close to 27:30 pace at the moment, though. Still well outside 28 minutes. Just looking very, very calm and collected indeed. Yamani behind Cripper. Well, we all know that Cripper has a really impressive turn of speed over the last lap. Maybe that's what he's just decided to do. I'm trying to second guess what may be going on between Yamani Behan's Crippa's ears. Maybe he just decided, with no one really wanting to push the pace into 27.5 minute area, just decided to sit in, because he is the one man that we know in this field has got a really good kick. Still a lot of the field altogether, probably about 40 meters covering the entire field. Awani up there as well, Pacé having a good run though. It's a 28.07 man at best. So the French doing well at the moment. I had slightly written off their chances of taking the team title, but they've got 3 in the top 8 at the moment. Spaniards also running well at this stage. They've got 3 people well placed. Israel, I think, as well up there. They're in contention. So it's Ayala now. Second Israeli at the front. Gasho Ayala took bronze in the marathon in Munich. He worked his way around that city. There's a best of 2:05 in the marathon, which he did recently in Seville. And that set a national record for Israel. He's looking as though he's turning his talents to the track quite effectively. Personal best of 28:08. Actually came in London 2 weeks ago as well, which was where Getahon did well. He's just moved to one side now. Let FIFA take the pace. FIFA's been always there or thereabouts. So up in the top 10. Just the lone Spaniard leading the way. But we've got 2 Israelis, 2 Italians, 3 Frenchmen. Well, in the men's B race and the women's A race, they were pretty much processions for the leaders, but this is anything but. This is turning into a really thrilling finale to this European 10,000 meters cup. So Ilas FIFA looking around though for somebody else perhaps to help with the pace. He can't be faulted, he's done a lot of work himself at the front. So he's coming through with 6 laps to go. 2,400 meters. Coming around the outside again, showing out in the second lane. It's Mehdi Frere getting to the front again, just covering the brakes. This is a good time to position yourself nicely. So it's FIFA and Frere. Up in front, 2 abreast. Behind them, Crippa and Getahon. Getahon, the slightly more stocky of the 2 Israelis. Also up there, Gebruet Fanail. So Italy and France battling for team honours here. France, of course, trying to make it a hat-trick. Italy last won this competition, the men's title at least, back in 2019. Gondouin also in there, having an extremely good run Gondwyn, haven't really talked about him very much. European Under-23 Championship bronze medalist in 2021, just finishing a place behind Tadessa Getahon. Sorry, Getahon taking the silver 2 years earlier. 4 years ago, rather. Gondwyn. Gondwyn setting his personal best here last year as well. The man currently in 6th place at the moment. But it's now starting to heat up a little bit. Yamani Bahan Kripa just starting to crank up the pace just a little bit. So 4 laps to go, 1600 metres. And that injection of pace has just slightly splintered the leading group. So it's Kripa, Getahon on his shoulder, still showing no effects of that 27:33 run in London just 2 weeks ago. Elias FIFA in 3rd, the Spaniard who's made so much of the running. Gashal Ayala, 2 Israelis in the top 4 at the moment. Gondwyn of France in 5th. And coming through, he's come from a long way back, Gebrawet Faniel. So it's 3 Italians in the top 6. And it's that group who are starting to move away now with just 3 laps to go. And you can see they go through in almost exactly 25 minutes with 3 laps to go, 1200 metres. Well, it's a bit of a tall order to get inside 28 minutes, but it's going to be an absolutely thrilling finale. So let's not worry about the clock for the moment. Let's just have a look at the men in front as once again Tadessa Getahon gets to the front. Elias FIFA now. And Yamani Bahan, you can just feel that he's waiting there to pounce as they come up to the 9 kilometre mark. Just 1 kilometre to go. 25:35:49 with a kilometre to go. This is going to be an absolutely enthralling and thrilling last kilometre. This is one of the best finishes to the European 10,000 metre cup I've seen for some years. Far too often they turn into a bit of a procession at the front with the man in form, just letting everybody else battle for the minor medals. 800 metres to go. 26:11 unofficially, and it's Elias FIFA at the front for Spain. Spain have won this in the past on a regular basis, most recently 2017, Antonio Abadia. Getahon, Israel have never won this individual title, nor a team title. And then the favourite Yamani Bahan Kripa, as they come up to 600 metres to go. Also up there still, it's Gashur Ayala. Gebrawet Faniel and Gondwyn are still up there. Ferreira's drifted back. Thomas George ran a very solid race in 7th. And he's still up there, doing well. As we come up to hear the bell, it's going to be Elias FIFA and now Yamani Kripa waiting to pounce, hitting the front as they hit the bell. Well, there was a certain predictability about this. It's not dissimilar to the way that he won gold in Munich last August. He's looking around. He's the man who really does have the turn of speed that can leave everyone trailing in his wake. Tadessa Getahon, though, isn't letting him go. FIFA starting to struggle to stay with the leading pair. Ayala's gone now. So it's just these 3 men in front. It's Kripa, Getahon and FIFA. That's the 1, 2, 3. Italy, Israel and Spain as they're coming around the bend for the last time. Coming into the home straight. Now Tadessa Getahon trying to get up on his shoulder. Battling valiantly with Yamani Bahan Kripa. But Kripa has an extra gear. 2019 champion becomes champion in 2023. The European 10,000 metres Cup goes to Italy's Yamani Bahan Kripa. Unofficially, the winning time 28:08.84. Well, the windy conditions probably put paid to a sub 28-minute time. The Israelis urging their teammate around, just trying to see whether they can get themselves on the podium. I think the team title probably will go to Italy. France probably in second place, but maybe the Israelis do find their place on the podium. We'll give you confirmation of the team standing shortly. But the 1, 2, 3, there was no doubt at all about that in the end. Yamani Bahan Kripa, who had all the weapons in his artillery, he did exactly what we expected. Waited, and then hit the front at the bell, and nobody went past him on that last lap. Tadessa Getahon, all credit to the Israeli, coming back after a really good race 2 weeks ago, still had plenty in his legs and challenged Kripa really hard. But in the end, it was the Italian who prevailed and regained the European 10,000 metres Cup individual title he won back in 2019, and just adds to his list of continental honours. Elias FIFA, who made the pace for so much of that race, finishing third for Spain. He's tied Yamani Bahan Kripa, I can tell that. Getting advice on which way to hold the Italian flag. I think he's tired as well after that marathon debut in April, but he still had enough to hold off the best of the rest of Europe's distance runners at the European 10,000 metres Cup. The Israelis, they did so well. They're looking a happy quintet there, the 5 runners from Israel. Or 6, is it? Boer. Well, we're expecting a little bit more from Felix Boer. Didn't feature. Well, there's the 6 Israeli runners. Abu Hai, he may well be getting a medal. I'm not sure he was in the scoring trio. There's Frere, who we saw so far at the front during the first half of the race and well into the second half. Israelis are happy though. Well, they've certainly got a silver medal thanks to Tadessa Getahun. So let's look at the highlights of that race, won by Yamani Bahan Kripa.
De la discipline sur cette même piste et celui qui a mené cette équipe de France très probablement vers un podium, mais on ne sait pas encore sur quelle marche. Mesdames et messieurs, le champion de France, Valentin Gondouin. Alors Valentin, une course très bizarre, ça accélère, ça repart, il y a du vent, il y a du monde, ça se bouscule. Comment tu t'es senti dans cette course? D'avoir des garçons comme Yamani Bahan Kripa, quand on est avec eux à 2 tours de l'arrivée, ça donne des idées quand même.
Ouais, complètement, c'est un réel plaisir, même si j'ai eu vraiment, j'ai eu beaucoup mal pendant toute la course, j'ai pas eu beaucoup de facilité, mais ça a tenu jusqu'à la fin et c'est d'être avec lui dans les 2 derniers tours, même si lui était, je pense, facile, c'est toujours plaisant et ça fera des belles photos aussi.
Ça fera des belles photos pour montrer à tout le monde. Et on va réserver un tonnerre d'applaudissements à ces garçons, à cette équipe de France qui a mouillé le maillot, qui a été là à la maison et qui a tout fait pour monter sur le podium. Normalement, ça devrait être bon. On va attendre les résultats officiels dans quelques minutes.
And that is how to win the European 10,000 metres Cup. Yamani Bahan producing an unbeatable turn of speed from the bell. 28:08.83, the winning time for Italy's Yamani Bahan Kripa, with Getahon of Israel and FIFA of Spain taking the silver and bronze. However, I think the battle for the team title is really close. And then one personal best there, Morgan Le Goyen getting inside 29 minutes for the first time. So despite the wind, some really good performances. There's the team standings. Well, and that explains Israel's delight. They take a gold medal at this European 10,000 metres cup for the first time ever. Israel just beat Italy by about 9 seconds. Well, please do stay with us because we've got all the medal presentations. Of course, if you've been following us from the beginning, from 6:15 Central European time, you'll know that Germany, through Alina Ray, took both the women's individual and team competition. Alina Ray, backed up by Dominika Meyer and Eva Dietrich, as the scoring trio for Germany. Italy, through Yamani Bahan Kripa, take the individual team title, regaining the title for the first time since 2019, when it was Kripa to stand on top of the podium once again. And Israel, for the first time ever, gets a gold medal at this event. Of course, Israel did have a women's individual winner back in 2018 through Lorna Chemtai-Salpeter. But that's the first time they've ever got a gold in the men's events. Spain, though, still historically the most successful nation ever in the history of the European 10,000 metres Cup, with 24 gold medals. Italy now take their tally on to 9. Germany also on 9 now, after those 2 gold medals in the women's 10,000 metres. So as the local Breton musicians entertain us, just getting ready now for the victory ceremonies. It's still very breezy, and as night falls, it's starting to get a little bit cooler in Pacé, that's for sure. That's the medal podium. We saw dignitaries on there a little bit earlier. And it'll soon be the turn of the successful athletes in the women's 10,000 metres. weather dipping down a little bit, so just checking the weather readings at the moment. We're down to about 18 degrees, so it's still quite balmy. The sun hasn't gone down completely. It'll get a little bit chillier later. Patiently waiting for the 3 medalists in the women's 10,000 metres to make their way to the podium. Well, if you enjoyed this live streaming through the European Athletics YouTube channel, of course, we have a lot of World Athletics Continental Tour silver and bronze meetings coming up, starting tomorrow with the Orlan Janusz Kosinski Memorial meeting coming to you from Chorzów in Poland, and that starts at 2 p.m. Central European time, and then a huge raft of meetings going across the summer. If you want to find out the full calendar, go to the European Athletics website, www.european-athletics.com. In addition, of course, we will be live streaming via the European Athletics YouTube channel all the main events of the summer, starting with the European Athletics Team Championships, which by coincidence are in the same stadium as the Chorzów meeting tomorrow, the Śląski Stadium in Silesia, and that will be starting on June the 20th, going all the way through that week as part of the European Games until June the 25th. And it's the very first time that all 3 divisions will be staged at the same venue across the same week. And we move into July, the European Under-23 Championships in Espoo, Finland. That'll be a spectacular event as always. I'm sure many of those medalists from there will go on to climb the podium in Rome next summer at the European Athletics Championships, and that takes place between the 17th, I should say the 14th to the 17th of July. And then we have the European Under-20 Championships in Jerusalem between the 7th to the 10th of August. And of course, Jerusalem last year hosted the European Under-18 Championships, and there will be many, many of the medalists from that event going forward, moving up an age group and going to Jerusalem once again. And they'll be very familiar with the Givat Ran Stadium in Jerusalem. And I'm sure we'll see some great performances there, particularly looking forward to seeing what the super talented Italian Matteo Falani can do. He's already jumped 8:44 windy in the long jump. He was the first European under-18 to jump over 8 metres, and he did so at the European Under-18 Championships last year. So we've got a full-packed programme of live streaming on European Athletics, predominantly YouTube, but also sometimes Facebook channels. And of course, supporting all European Athletics competitions. There's so much content on the European Athletics website and social media channels. Well, presentation team just taking their time just a little bit. Should have been starting a good 7 minutes ago. On the left-hand side of your picture, you can see the women's individual medalists all sitting down there. Plus, they've managed to corral some of the teams as well. Just wondering who they're waiting for. Well, it looks like we're going to bring an end to the coverage from the European 10,000 metres Cup. Thank you and good night.